Hello and welcome to part 1 of our CDM Sport 2JZ E46 2025 Pro Drift car build. I'm Connor from CDM Sport. We're a performance car parts distributor based here in Ireland, but we ship globally. We are here outside Armagh at BC Performance, which is run by Ben Cartmel. He builds and maintains performance cars, road, drift, track, whatever. And that's where we're going to be undertaking all of our engine, chassis and build work. Ben and I are going to be working with a lot of great partners, trying a lot of new things, trying to develop the chassis further than it already has. So be sure to subscribe, like, follow along the journey and see what we get up to. What we're going to do first, I guess, is show you around the car and show you all what is already done. Basically what we've done is we've bought a prefabricated shell because time's not on our side. It's nearly the end of October and we want to get testing by January ideally. Maybe late January, early February, but yeah, ideally in the new year we want to be testing this thing and getting it ready for the 2025 Irish Drift Championship season, as well as a few surprise events throughout the year. I guess we'll start here at the back of the car. As I said, most of the car is already fabricated, and that is no exception to the rear end here, where we have already got mounted our dual pass universal Mishimoto radiator, as well as a nice cowling for our 10-inch raceline fans, which we'll be running. This is a very proven and well tested setup when running a rear radiator in a drift car or hill climb car, whatever. So if you are planning to run a rear radiator setup, I would definitely go for this, and all of this is available from CDM Sport. So yeah, we've already got our ducting done here. Basically we're going to be running the perspex window over here, and I've swooped down into the radiator. Fans pull air out with a few vents here so the hot air doesn't get trapped. The guys who done the fabrication were obviously planning to mount their fuel cell here. I don't like that at all. Makes the cars a bit rear heavy, and I like quite a fast snappy car, so we'll be moving that into the rear seat. One of the big parts of this build is going to be weight, which should be pretty high up the list in any build. So we're going to be removing a lot of metal back here also, and as I mentioned before too about the weight distribution, you want a slightly lighter rear end in a drift car, or else it makes them quite lazy to transition, which can really become an issue when you're chasing or on quite tight technical tracks like the ones we have here in Ireland. Continuing on with the rear radiator, you can see here we've already got some of the piping done. Comes through the rear firewall and down in through where the rear seats would be. Quite tightly done, but it does still need welded up as it's only been tacked. Suppose we'll move on to the cage next. The cage simply is a work of art. See here, very, very high finish. This cage would probably pass for the highest motorsport regulation on the planet. So we're tied into the rear subframe. We've got a lot of points back here and here. It's tucked up nice and high to the roof. Very, very good cage. This cage is certainly overkill for drifting, and it actually induces a bit more weight into the car than I want. I wanted to cut it. Ben said no, because whenever you cut bars out of a cage, trying to leave a tidy job and without also compromising the cage's structural integrity is quite difficult. So it's going to stay as it is, and we're going to find weight reduction elsewhere. Of course, last but not least, we have the engine bay, which has already been space framed. There is a front bumper structure that goes around here. It's quick connect, so you can take it on and off very easily and access everything in the car. Other than that, the engine bay is stripped out. Gearbox tunnel is also widened, and that's pretty much it. So we still have a bit of fab to do. We want to move the fuel tank and do various other things. At the moment we're just going to get started with cleaning up the chassis, so that means removing seam sealer and unnecessary brackets and getting the main point seam welded, and getting her ready for the rest of fabrication and ready for paint. Been busy already drilling out our spot welds for brackets and engine. I think this side's pretty much done. We have this here, and then we'll be removing the brackets like this and this. Nothing else for it other than let's get stuck into it. bracket down, a gazillion others to go. Right, we have all the brackets and spot welds removed from the engine bay. All that's left is to grind down any studs and buff down, smooth everything out, and then the painter will be able to fill in any imperfections with body filler, and then we'll have a very beautiful engine bay. Up next is inside of the car, where there is a lot more work to do. I'm not going to film it because you'll get very bored watch me drill out spot welds all day.
What's up, brother?
That'll be going in.
No, that won't.
Right.
Well,
Ben is back from his errands, so he's going to show you around the plans for the car and talk a bit more about our intentions.
Yeah. So the main sort of place where we're putting all our R&D is into the back suspension. We've already started off by, there's a set of custom BCs coming that are long travel. Would be just, we're never going to use all the travel they're coming with, but we don't want to be looking for it. We want, and then the trailing arms are the big part. They're sort of coming through.
They're already designed,
yeah,
and they're already being tested by very high level drifters, much higher level than myself or Ben. So once they're done the development phase, which I understand is going really, really well, they'll be available to you guys through us at CDM Sport, and Ben here can get them installed. What is so special about these arms?
Basically, they're pretty simple toe adjustment with shims. So you're slacklining 3 bolts, sliding a shim in. Obviously, well, to be honest, it's probably the handiest way to do it, because you know what you're adding every time. You know what your outcome is. There's no guessing with it.
As well as these shims, you still have the original adjustment
within your pocket.
So maybe you would set it that to 0, or maybe like 3 mil or 1/8 of an inch toe in to begin with, and then each shim is that. It's
so 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah, 1/8 of an inch.
So you're just going that every time. And we're also raising the rear strut tire mounts, so we are to allow for this travel, along with the trailing arms have more room for
articulation.
Yeah,
that's a big word of the week.
Yeah.
So they're obviously, with the standard trailing arms, like, you can put all the travel you want in your suspension, but there's only so far they can go up before they bottom out against the chassis, because your chassis here and the arm goes up like this. But the OEM trailing arms are like a box, whereas these ones are flat, so you'll get an extra few inches there. And then the raised strut tires along with the long stroke BCs will just leave it that this thing is going to be able to squat.
Yeah, we're sort of aiming to be able to completely bottom out. Obviously not with these wheels.
We're going to be throwing on a tasty wee set of Stroms here, in place of, as lovely as these orange, whatever they are.
They'll do the seat time cures. But no, basically looking to bottom out, be able to completely bottom out the wheel till the flat part of the arch, and then we'll limit our travel obviously with solid bump stops. So we're not bottoming out, because obviously that would be a very, very negative thing in the middle of a very high speed drift.
That would be scary.
Yeah.
That'd be very scary.
That'd just be like pulling the handbrake and
They're
having no control.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is where a lot of our time is going to go, is into this rear suspension setup, because we want to have all of the grip and all of the squat.
Yeah. We're going to be doing wheelies.
Yeah, that's pretty much the plan.
I just see her over the hill of Mandello on only the back wheels. Right, up to the business end of the car. Steering, we're going to be running purple tag E46 rack with a CDM angle kit, which we've run all year. I'm very delighted with it, as well as a lot of other people running it. So you can check them out on the website if you like. Then we obviously will be running our BC coilovers up front to match the rear, and what's left in the front end, I guess, is the chassis and the engine. So yeah.
So the chassis, we already have an enlarged tunnel to take the 2J and the gearbox and be able to have it as far back as possible, and we will also maybe change a couple of wee things just to make it more serviceable.
Yeah.
Then we also will be chassis mounting the 2J instead of through the subframe, just simply to
mitigate any
flex or strength issues basically with the subframe.
Yeah, it means your subframe won't tire as easily either, as we've seen it happen a few European cars watching their YouTube vlog and stuff. So yeah, because of the amount of grip that also these cars are now running, even though we're limited till road tire, there's possibly a couple of things happening next year that will be on the semi-slicks
and possibly the very, very high level 76.
Yeah. More to come.
Yeah. So basically it'll take all the stress away from the subframing and will be put through the body of the car instead. Yeah. Which is better.
It's going to take more than a wee subframe, like.
Yeah.
I guess what's left now is the big one, the engine. The engine itself is, look, we're not going to be running crazy mad power. We're going to leave the engine so that it could if it wanted, reliability wise. But yeah, no, a pretty basic 2J setup. So the head is going to be just standard head, maybe a light port and polish, a set of valve springs for sure. Brian Cryer valve springs. Yeah. On the website. Possibly a set of cams. We still aren't just 100% set with our goals with this engine, but look, you don't need them until you're rightly above 600. Yeah. Bottom end, simple pistons, rods, ARP head studs, ARP mains and rod bolts, obviously. ACL bearings. Yeah. Best of the best, basically. Yeah. Upgraded oil pump. Don't know whether we're going to go for a GTE pump or possibly look into other aftermarket upgrades. We will do our research on that and possibly have more on the CDM website. Yeah. After we find out what's what and sort of what is proven to be good. Yeah, exactly. Not just going to sell anything like. Yeah. Then the main showpiece of the engine is going to be the turbo setup. So basically all going to be turbo smart, full system. As Connor here at CDM Sport, he is a rep for them and sells a lot of turbo smart stuff. Yeah, turbo smart is good. It's the best there is in terms of everything turbo. Like it just can't be matched. Yeah. They have a patented turbo design that allows for a much smaller turbo to output much larger horsepower numbers. So that means basically, in layman's terms, no lag and a more responsive turbo. So ideally, the turbo combined with what we're going to be running is fresh air anti-lag. Yeah. Which is basically going to completely mitigate any lag. Yeah. We're going to have positive boost on idle. Yeah. Fresh air anti-lag is something that's not really seen in the drifting world. It's more just WRC rally. Mm-hmm. It basically is like a external wastegate Pretty much.
Yeah. Basically, in layman's terms, you have singular pipes coming from each runner of your manifold into a collector into this, and your fresh air coming out of the turbo into it. So all of your anti-lag bits and pieces are happening outside of the combustion chamber, which will also help with EGTs.
Yeah, it reduces all your temps. It's less stress in the turbo, the manifold, the engine. That's the reason it was invented, because rally cars were burning out their turbos, so they had to come up with a solution to stop that. So that just proves how safe it is. So it's not traditional anti-lag, it's not even remotely soaring an engine, and it sounds unbelievable.
Yeah, it just makes all of the right noises.
Oh,
yeah,
cannot wait.
And it's also going to completely reduce the stress on the rest of our driveline, as the system's not going to have as big a shocks going through it, trying to build boost, you know, from low RPMs. It's an advantage in every single way possible.
Yeah.
So it is.
Maybe a small cost disadvantage, but for all it costs, like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
If you're building a 2J drift car, or if you're just building a drift car these days, it's not cheap. So you might as well have something like that on it to keep the car up and boost, and it will actually work out cheaper because you won't break shit. Simple as that.
And also eliminates the need for an electric throttle body as well, which people make them work. Other people have very poor luck with them. I think it's just down to whatever way it sways that day. They don't seem to be...
very few high level drifters in the world are running electronic throttle bodies.
Yeah, simply due to reliability.
Yeah.
So it is. So basically we're building a very, very high level car, but keeping our power levels at a reasonable pace, because we're going to be running road tires majority of the time.
Yeah.
But we have all the options there for when there's possibly an international event
or two
happening, where there is different compound semi-slicks which take a lot more to spin, basically.
She really will be willing then.
Yeah. So this is just our attempt at building a very, very, very fast and reliable car, which them two do not go
hand in hand.
No,
not often, but it can be done.
Yeah,
if you use the right parts and the right guys at it, such as Ben here from BC Performance.
Yeah.
So if he's sort of based here in Ireland and you need any performance work done to your street, track, drift car, whatever, get on to Ben's Instagram, BC Performance, and give him a shout. He'll get back to you with a dangerous build, maybe.
Yeah, well, they have to happen too.
Yeah. No, so we have a lot in the works for next year too. We'll not just give away too much yet, but the original V8 E46 will still be on the grid.
Yep.
And perhaps one or two other cars.
Yep.
So we have a lot to come, and just follow along, subscribe and like the videos, and follow the journey, and all support is greatly appreciated.
And hopefully we'll get a lot better at this video.
Yeah, I'm sure this was like watching paint dry, but you sort of have to get the bad video out of the way, don't you?
Yeah, you have to learn the way.
Yeah.
So thank you very much anyways.
Yeah, see you on the next one.